Welcome to a new episode of the LowLife podcast. I'm here with my co-host Dennis.
How you beautiful people doing?
We're back at it with another episode in record time this time.
Yeah, this might be a record. Yeah, bro. We almost did it sooner. Honestly.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, it was just our
great.
schedules. Yeah, but we're working on it. A lot of people kept hitting me with that, like, "Yo, y'all need to be consistent with it. Like, it's good."
Yeah, dude, the support. I just want to say, first of all, everyone who showed love to us in the comments and liked, and I mean, every time I see that support,
keeps us going, man.
It makes me like, oh, let's go record another one.
And the thing is, like, that last episode was so long and it was a lot of heavy stuff. It was very heavy. But I feel like we got the most love on that podcast, outside maybe the shot one. But in general,
no one can be shot. This episode, to be honest. We'll get him back one day for sure. But I think a topic like that, man, a lot of people, it's such a heavy hitting topic, especially right now since it's so, it's in the news 24/7, literally every day. You turn on the news, that's all you hear.
Personally, like, I've had to take a break from even posting about it and stuff because it's taking a toll. So I can't imagine living in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but we do appreciate the support, and especially with a topic like that. It's nice to see that support come in.
So in recent political Henry Kissinger died. And you told me you don't know much about it.
Yeah, so I don't actually know much of this guy. I know he's old as fuck. That's what I know. He died at 100. So I know he's been around for a while, since, probably, very old administrations and stuff. So he's probably got some corrupt stuff.
I think he started out with the Eisenhower administration or the Kennedy. I'm not sure.
Holy
really.
Shit.
So he's been around for a while, man. And he was his last presidency that he was a part of was the, I think, Clinton or Bush administration, something like that. So he was around.
Well, what I've heard from just going on social media is that he was an awful human being.
He was. And in a sense, the thing is, with Kissinger, it was his style of politics that may put him up there as one of the worst human beings to ever fucking exist. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm telling you, if you walk across his grave, please piss on it. Like,
and if you're a politician, I feel like it's easy to be in that rank.
Oh, yeah. And then just to say, like, he makes other politicians look like puppies, bro. Like,
that's crazy.
He's bad. He has a style of politics called realpolitik. It's like, it's a, what's it called? A style of...
Might have heard of this before.
It's a style of politics that discounts form of politics that basically discounts any morality whatsoever in this like field, I guess. And it's all about practicality. Morals and ideologies do not exist to somebody like Henry Kissinger.
It's all about accomplishing your mission
and furthering your political power. That's it. It's like this Machiavellian. Do you know what Machiavellian is? It's like
definitely heard of. But I don't really know.
It's like the ends justify the means.
Oh, okay, right.
Okay, like you got to push your political power to a point.
I love that word.
Yeah, for real, it just flows off the tongue. But yeah, it's like a style of politics that really gets you to the top easy. You have to be cutthroat,
ruthless. Yeah,
but you can't also show that you cutthroat. Like Kissinger, despite murdering thousands upon thousands, and like I'm talking about, bombed Cambodia to the point that it was equivalent to 150 Hiroshimas and Nagasaki's. Damn. And for what? Because they were neutral in the Vietnam War, and they wanted to just cut off supplies coming through Cambodia. Decimated this country into the Stone Age.
Jeez.
Decimated them. I'm talking about like completely ruined them for centuries to come.
Yeah, the economy and everything.
God knows how much thousands upon thousands of people he's killed in the process. Right. And that's just one of his many atrocities, He
was a Republican?
He started out as a Democrat, eventually became Republican when it was convenient. He was a huge opponent of Nixon. And then eventually, and Kissinger is Jewish. And Nixon is famous for his anti-Semitism. Like there's tapes of him being hugely anti-Semitic. The way Kissinger made his way into the Nixon administration is by convincing him, I'm one of the good Jews. It's bad.
That's crazy.
He's horrible.
Damn.
He has a quote where he says, like, I would be anti-Semitic if I was a Jewish. And I'm just like, bro, you are wild. Like he doesn't give a fuck. He really doesn't. And Cambodia is just one of them. Like, for example, he was working with Nixon before Nixon was elected. There was peace talks between the North Vietnam and South Vietnam, and what they did was go behind the Kennedys' backs, because ensuring that the Vietnam War continued proved that the Democrats completely plundered everything. They they fucked up with this war. They shouldn't have gotten into it. Lyndon B. Johnson shouldn't have gotten into it in the first place. Shouldn't have caused it. Which, realistically, is right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that's like a irrefutable fact.
Yeah. And if Johnson was able to mend fences with the North and South Vietnamese and create a one united Vietnam and create peace, the Democrats would have won. They would have. But Kissinger preferred Nixon. So what he did with his diplomatic ties is talk to the president of South Vietnam and say, listen, like, try to not negotiate with North Vietnam, prolong it, we'll reward you for it and all this. And what this did was ensure that Nixon's victory would come because the Democrats completely plundered on the Vietnam War. And that prolonged the war by maybe another 6-7 years, something like crazy like that. So Henry Kissinger's snakish fucking acts like directly resulted in the millions and millions of death rates skyrocketing like insane numbers. And that's why I say like he's one of the worst human beings to ever exist. I'm telling you, because you got to think when Julius Caesar conquered Gaul, for example, there was only, you got to think like there was relative damage to the, like relatively his damage was
when
nowhere near
when
he captured Gaul, the French. That's what France was before it became France.
Gaul.
Yeah, it was called Gaul, and they were notoriously like barbaric and strong and very good warriors. And when he overtook them, Caesar slaughtered most of them. Not most, but a lot of them.
Yeah. Or at least the ones that probably didn't want to like convert or whatever.
But in the terms of like relativity, when we talk about that, Kissinger has done more damage than Julius Caesar did, than Alexander the Great did conquering the whole world.
Yeah, and they have the different, arsenal to choose from as far as like Julius Caesar is like stabbing motherfuckers.
Yeah.
We're bombing. This is why we're bombing people,
shit.
Bro.
Like I told you, 150 easy. Nagasaki's like shit.
I mean, that doesn't even seem. I mean, when you say that number, it's kind of like you kind of brush it off.
Yeah, you can't like it's not fathomable.
That doesn't just seem real, to be honest.
And another thing is you got to think about the fact that Kissinger won the Nobel Peace Prize like a year after what he did in Cambodia.
I'm pretty sure the Nobel Peace Prize has been like kind of like debunked. Like
it's
the
stupid.
Peace Prize is stupid, but there's another Nobel, isn't there?
There's multiple subjects for physics, for science, for
like the
history.
Other shit is kind of. I feel like the peace ones are usually like kind of.
They're usually like political.
Like Obama got a Nobel Peace Prize.
Obama got it despite droning like little children, infants.
At this point, it's kind of like
when Kissinger
PR.
Kissinger actually like didn't even want to accept it.
Oh, really?
He's like,
he knew. Yeah.
he knew the optics of it.
I kill some fucking people.
And the thing with that is like you got to think 2 people on the Nobel Peace Prize committee stepped down because of it.
Damn,
it was that bad. And he offered to give it back, but they're like, "No, you got to take it."
And this was during like what 2006?
No, this is the 70s.
70s.
I'm talking about after he bombed Cambodia.
Oh, okay.
Like it was during the Vietnam War.
Oh, okay.
It was basically to stop North Vietnam's supply of weapons coming from China and the communist countries.
You know, a president, I don't think we talked about this last time. You know, a president I wish had a second term?
Who?
Carter.
Carter, the thing about Carter is...
I liked Carter, man.
He's just too fucking
in hindsight.
Nice.
Well, yeah. That's what people say.
Like, in the eyes of politics.
I think who won instead of him? Who got the...
Carter, did he go for re-election? I really don't know.
He did, but he lost because I
think Reagan.
He was doing, I'm pretty sure Reagan won because he was doing some sort of hostage situation, man, or something.
The Israeli hostage situation.
Yes, I'm pretty sure.
During the Olympics,
Carter was and like he missed a debate because he was literally fucking like diffusing, trying to like, and these motherfuckers didn't vote.
Crazy bad luck.
Yeah, man. It's just I don't know. Looking back, I think it would have been good if we elected him twice.
The thing with passive people like that, and like they just don't compute into that. Like there's a study that I forgot to bring up last time was that like people in like Dennis, say you wanted to be president. You know what level of ego requires that level of thinking to say I can run a country of 300 million people.
Yeah,
like,
bro.
How much you have to convince yourself that you're, and it's like
confidence.
People
so high.
Exactly, and people in the
like I think I have good confidence. You know what I'm saying?
But you're not a narcissist.
Yeah, like it gets to it. Like you know your limit. You have to think you're better than people almost, or you do really. Like,
you have to like it's.
Well, you have to you have to, make yourself believe that you are ultimately the one that makes the best choices for everyone. So.
And like narcissism and greed and all those are characteristics of successful politicians.
Yeah,
it is.
It makes sense.
You have to be willing to be cutthroat at times. You have to
that's why I didn't want to become a car salesman, because in a sense you have to.
That's
similar
a great comparison.
Thing, like I didn't want to be, and you don't have to. Everyone always tells me, dude, you don't have to be a sleazy car salesman. You ain't making the most money, bro. You ain't being the most successful if you're not. That's just how it goes. You could be a very successful,
I'm glad you brought that
honest salesman, but I promise you, the sleazy one is still getting paid.
Yeah, he's getting paid more, and he's better at it than you are.
Yeah, pretty much.
He doesn't give a fuck. He's ruthless.
Exactly. Yes.
You have to be a shark in a workplace like that. Because I worked at T-Mobile, and I was just selling fucking phones, bro.
Yeah.
I was selling phones, and I remember like this is what caused me to quit T-Mobile. Because I was so disgusted with what I had to do. Like, it literally made me quit the fucking job.
Okay.
There was this guy who barely knew English. He was Hispanic. And he was buying a phone. And my district manager lied to him and said, yo, you get a free iPad with it. What that guy didn't know is he included the price of the iPad that he pays monthly to that phone. And told him he was just paying for the phone and the iPad was free.
Nice.
Just to meet metrics and sales for that store.
Nice. Awful human being.
Yeah. Great human being. No wonder he got that position. Right?
Yeah.
And I was sitting there disgusted with myself. And I had no choice. He's on the other end of the phone. What am I going to say? I'm not going to do it. You know, like he'll fire me right fucking there. And all I saw was my own parents whose English aren't like that good.
Yeah, bro.
It fucked me up. And it caused me like to go into like this fucking crisis in my head, like what the fuck? Like how can I do something like that?
Yeah.
How can I be successful at something like that? And I just couldn't do it.
And I wouldn't be able to live with myself day in, day out. Like,
and like I don't understand why people want to be leaders, bro. Like it's stressful. It's
okay. Well, first of all, I don't think you choose to be a leader. You get chosen.
Those are good leaders. That's your measurement.
The leader, if you choose to be a leader, you're probably not a good leader. Exactly. I'm gonna be honest. You get chosen as a leader. That's just how it is.
There's got to be something in it for you to be want to be a leader.
There's a reason why you get chosen. If you're not displaying those traits or characteristics, you're not going to be chosen naturally. And like a not natural chosen leader is not going to be able to lead a group.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how it goes.
I've always like felt like in a situation where I have to be a leader, even if it's like a school fucking project. Yeah. The only time I'll come forward and say, "All right, I'll do it," is when I fucking have to. Like nobody else here is competent enough, so I got to do it.
I feel like a lot of times when you need to step up.
Yeah,
you do know, and like it's your choice whether to step up or not. But all right, I think
that's a very good quality to have, to know when to apply it and when not to, when to take a step back and let people flourish on their own.
Yeah, but it's also a quality being able to, all right, let me take lead. Let me take charge.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the whole thing with if someone gets in an accident, someone needs to call 911. Oh yeah, you're gonna call it. They'll be fine,
Yeah.
And you don't call them, and I don't call them, and no one fucking calls 911. It's like, damn, I thought you were going to. It's like, bro, I thought it's like someone just fucking.
Somebody just got to do it. Yeah, somebody's got to step up.
Everyone thinks everyone else is gonna do it.
Yeah, and that's what makes you a good leader. Like George Washington, for example, he didn't want to be president. He didn't want to be the country's first president. He was probably the best president of any. Outside of Lincoln, maybe he was the greatest president.
I feel like Lincoln's a little overrated.
But
I don't know.
Why do you think so?
I don't see. Like, I don't even have facts, so I don't even want
to. You just don't fuck with him.
I just think he's overrated, bro. I think his likability is a little like heightened. Like, I feel like he wasn't so. Like motherfuckers talk about he freed the slaves and stuff. He only did that because he had to.
He had to, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because if he didn't, then I'm pretty sure he would have lost the war, if anything.
It's not even that he would have lost the war. He would have lost control. Like the thing is, the reason why Lincoln is so esteemed and like considered the greatest president ever is because how bloody the Civil War really was, bro. Yeah. It was bad. It's the bloodiest war in American history, probably. Not by the numbers, by like the sheer that it was happening in your own yard, and sons were killing their fathers, and fathers were killing their sons, and brothers were killing each other over a disagreement politically. Yeah, where they aligned politically, and like I imagine back in 2016, of all the Clinton supporters and the Trump supporters were just fucking going at it, and they were brothers and siblings. Like your Thanksgiving dinner, imagine all out Civil War broke out, and that Thanksgiving dinner is people with all from the other side. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like think about it. It's like the level of division within that country we haven't seen since.
Yeah.
And it all stems back to the slavery issue, even though people try to claim it isn't. It's a states' rights issue. That's basically, if anybody ever mentioned it's states' rights, they're racist.
I'm pretty sure he allowed, because once he said slavery, because he allowed blacks in his army. He was the only one, right? And then he also promised, what was it, 3/5 or something? Like,
no, that was in the Constitution.
Or no. Every black man that served in the army was promised land or something. But they never got the land.
It was 3 acres and a mule. Something
yes,
like that.
Yes,
that's like the black people.
Right, yeah. And And that, in my head, it's like
realistically,
damn, bro,
there wasn't even that much land to give out, unless it was in the West and
I don't know. I
Manifest
guess.
Destiny, but nobody wants to
motherfuckers
there.
died. Like there had to have been a lot of land. To
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So,
what was going around in the South a lot was that Lincoln is going to take when they beat us. If they beat us, Lincoln's going to take over and give all the plantations back to the slaves. Right? So that was the fear that was running.
Well, that's the whole bullshit thing. Like white people were getting scared of like, oh, too many black people are going to be free. Like they're going to come after us, and it's like, bro, I just want my land and my mule. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't even give them that. And it's like.
The reason why
that's the whole fucking segregation started. Like
Jim Crow started because Lincoln died, though.
Oh, okay.
And that's where his impact even grows even more. Because Andrew Johnson, his vice president, was very pro-slavery. Yeah. I mean, he sided with the Union.
Everyone was back then. Yeah, bro,
but he did not like Lincoln's politics at all. He didn't like how he handled
it. Look, bro, if you were back then and you owned a slave, like that's a good fucking like life, bro. You got some rent.
Because it's like people don't realize plantation owners are literal billionaires in today's terms.
I was gonna say Cuba, right?
Yeah, the Cuban government.
And
I mean the Cuban
like someone will be like, oh, my grandparent has a bunch of money or like has a lot of land in Cuba. It's like they own slaves, motherfucker. Like,
it's what it gets when you know they were slave owners when they say, yeah, Castro kicked out my grandpa.
Yes.
And he was super, super rich in Cuba and he fucked us over and all that.
Like there's literally this shit is still happening today.
Yeah. And Cuba is a fucking motherfucker itself, bro. I could dedicate a whole episode to just Cuba alone and the Nixon and Kennedy administration trying to assassinate Fidel Castro. There's a really good book. It's called like The Truth About Watergate, the mob, CIA, all that about Nixon's role in Watergate and what he was trying to hide. Do you know what Watergate is?
Yeah, I definitely watched like a documentary on this shit, but I don't recall.
It's like basically Nixon hired a bunch of mob guys and fucking burglars to break into the Democratic National Convention to retrieve info that they had on Nixon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what that info was about was their ties with the mob.
Oh, okay.
Nixon's ties with the mobs to assassinate Fidel Castro. Because they wanted to find a way to assassinate Fidel Castro without it coming back to the U.S. government. And the mobs had a bunch of casinos in Havana and all that. And when Castro came into power, he wanted a huge percentage of it. Basically, took them out of business.
Yeah.
And the mob wanted him gone, and the U.S.
plausible.
Gone. So it was kind of both of them had the same goal in the end, and they wanted to,
Yeah, but he got caught.
The Kennedy assassination was probably done by the mob too.
Dude,
people think it's the CIA, but I think it's the mob.
I don't know, but I saw that video of it again, and that shit is.
When his head fucking blows off.
Because I'm pretty sure the guy misses the first shot. Or he hits him in the chest or something.
The thing is, the Magruder film is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
The thing that revealed is that assassination happened from multiple angles, bro. It couldn't have just been,
two shooters, you think?
Lee Harvey Oswald couldn't, unless he was a master. I mean, master, one of the greatest snipers to ever live.
Nice shot.
And, no, the angles don't even add up, even if he was.
Oh.
Because he
where he was posted?
Yeah, because they're saying a bullet went into his head, down his back, into his knee, then hit the dude in front. Like, no, that's not how bullets work. When bullets hit you, they expand and
you saw the
fragment.
You see, there's literally a video. Bullets hits him right in the fucking face.
But Carlos Marcello, he was the head of a mob. He was the boss of the mob, and he said because he wanted to get at Kennedy because his little brother Robert Kennedy made a name off basically putting these mob guys in jail.
Oh, okay.
Destroyed their business in America, their extortion, all that. Added a bunch of laws. He was the general. Attorney General. My fault.
Oh, Attorney General.
Yeah, he was the Attorney General of the U.S. And what Carlos Marcello said about the Kennedys was, in order to get the tail, you got to kill the head of the dog first. Basically implying that to get Robert Kennedy, you got to kill the dog, like the head of the dog, which is his brother, John. So in order to rid Robert Kennedy of his power of indicting us, we have to kill John F. Kennedy. And the night of JFK's murder, Carlos Marcello's mistress was out with them, and they were all fucking celebrating like they did it. You know what I mean? Shit. She said she went out and started throwing up and crying because the way they acted, how indifferent they were. Because you got to think, this is like the first, I guess, assassination that was really like broadcasted, I guess, in a way. Like McKinley was murdered before that in 1901, but
who was it?
It was McKinley. Yeah, he's the dude who was whatchamacallit. He was before Roosevelt.
Okay.
Teddy Roosevelt.
Okay.
And he got assassinated, but it was out in public and all that. But the thing with the Kennedy assassination is there's footage. Yeah. There's thousands of witnesses.
There's like a parade or something.
And the news, Walter Cronkite coming on saying the president's been shot. And like that shit was new. Like that shit, information moving like that.
Yeah. As far as like how quickly it could get spread across the states.
And
that's insane.
So you got to think that was like the first public mourning of a tragic event in the U.S. Like Pearl Harbor, of course, but like on that scale, like the actual president of the United States got fucking lit up.
Shit that we can remember 9/11.
Yeah. Like 9/11 for us, basically. That's a great way to put it.
I mean, everything changed after that. Probably just like how a lot changed after JFK.
Yeah, like you got to think like all of. Okay, there's this thing. You got to think about it this way, Dennis. If I were to go back to, let's say I go back to July of 2001, and I tell all these fucking airports, you got to heighten up security. People have to get their bags searched everywhere they go. All this shit. They would laugh me out the room. Like, oh yeah, just more money to spend, more time wasted, like all that shit. They would laugh me out the room because they can't conceive the possibility of something like a 9/11 happening in the first place. You know what I mean? It's like a butterfly effect.
Especially at that point, we were so like untouchable in a sense.
Yeah, we felt, like we were in our
like
prime,
no one would ever come in the States.
That. Like, what the fuck are y'all thinking? And you got to think like
that's insane.
It requires something like that directly to happen to us to indirectly change everything in the future. Like if I were to come pre 9/11 and tell you need to ramp up security, you need to do this, that, X, Y, and Z, you completely wouldn't even.
They would have sent you to jail after, probably.
They're like, what the fuck are you planning?
Like,
you must be planning something. You know what I mean?
They're like, you were a part of this.
Yeah, but then after 9/11, like it makes sense. Like, how did we not have this before?
That's
but it required a 9/11 for it to.
That's like the thing. If you ever got a superpower, or you could read minds or teleport or some shit. Make sure you don't tell the fucking government because you get locked up in like some cage.
Yeah, bro, they're gonna study you.
They're gonna study the fuck out of you. They're gonna dissect you. Yeah,
but it requires these horrible events to happen for us to be able to learn from them, and I guess it's sad though that that's the case. Like we can't just be cautious on our own and.
I think the way we reacted was almost an overreaction, which is understandable, of course. In that
during
time.
9/11?
Yeah, after the way we reacted, and of course, like the way we went to, we already talked about this.
We don't even.
That's that was such a mistake in hindsight.
But the reaction of the American public, you got to think about a lot of Muslims post 9/11, like the few fucking months after that. My brother was in middle school during that, bro, and he told me, he was like, it was bad. Like they were very like teachers looking at you a certain way now, bro. Like teachers, like people who were supposed to put your trust in and all that shit. And my mom wearing a scarf outside and people just looking at her like she's the enemy of America. It took a while for them to even understand, because that was a lot of people's first introduction to Islam. They're like, what is this barbaric religion that causes these people to fucking explode themselves in a plane? Like it's a crazy concept. But what's funny is like that curiosity and that like disgust and caused a lot of people to go study Islam. You know what I mean? And
is Islam the most converted to religion? I think so.
Yeah, it's accelerating and growing at such a high rate because we have a lot of fucking kids, Middle Easterners.
They do.
Fucked up. Like I just told you before we started this, I got like 5 other siblings.
That's
my grandparents had 10 kids.
That's crazy.
And my aunts and uncles are each having 5 kids. Like we're just like that. We reproduce like, yeah, bro, like it's crazy. And like
Nowadays I wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, because there's actually a study, not saying Muslims themselves are uneducated, but like people from the Middle East are in unstable conditions and education isn't very structured. Women who are less educated have more children.
Oh, okay.
Like educated women who go to college and all that, like have 1 or 2 kids maybe.
I mean, you could see that developing literally here in the States.
Exactly.
Women, nowadays, like they're trying to, independent. Well, the United States, man, is victim of, the individualistic society. And I mean, people nowadays, man, the way it's progressing is like people are so like lonely in a sense. Nobody really hangs out with anyone like that anymore, or at least like everyone's so worried about themselves. There's no community at all. At least in the States, there's absolutely none. Maybe in like select
the thing that concerns me a lot
spots, but
what concerns me a lot based on what you're saying is like I've talked about it before. I don't know if you've.
I think we've talked about.
Yeah, we've talked about it before, of course. But on my story, I posted on my Snap story, I was talking about the commodification of information being so readily available. There was 2 books in high school that had the most impact on me. It was 1984 by George Orwell and what was it called? A Brave New World.
Oh, okay.
And those 2 books, bro. In the Brave New World, it's about. Okay, let me start with 1984 because I'm not going to explain.
I haven't read either of those.
You should. It's great. 1984 is about.
I've heard of both. Though.
It's about a government that people always reference it.
Is there a movie of these 2?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm pretty sure.
And 1984, there's like this government who controls and withholds information all the time and basically tells you what they want you to hear. Right, they control everything, your very thoughts, everything. But then in A Brave New World, it's the complete polar opposite. Information is so readily available.
These are two separate
books. And information is so readily available that
no one gives a fuck.
Nobody gives a fuck. Like, I don't even need to go look out for it. Like, I don't give a shit what's going on in fucking Pakistan. Like, I don't give a shit. I'm chilling, you know? They had these little pills they took. They make them feel good and all that. They're good, you know? They don't, like, that's the thing that's happening now. You got to think with the technology growing now, Dennis. I can read an article about a 12-year-old Palestinian girl who lost both her legs. But when information was only within our square mileage of fucking little town.
It impacts you more.
It impacts you more because you know little Jimmy who got his legs blown off. You saw him at the candy store every day.
Little Jimmy.
Yeah, fuck little Jimmy. Fuck his legs. No, but like that's the point. Like you become desensitized to all this information because they're no longer even a person to you. You know?
Well, I was gonna say I saw you post something the other day of someone else posted a picture of like a dead kid or baby or something, and you were like, y'all can't just be posting that willy-nilly. Like, first of all, do we not have any fucking like censorship warnings anymore or something? You can't just put a fucking dead baby on your story.
You know what made me post that, Dennis? I saw people post it, 3 separate people too. People I'm really cool with and I love, and they're very passionate.
I just don't understand why. Oh, okay, let me ask you this. What was their purpose of posting the picture? Did they have a caption?
It's their way of spreading the horrors of what's going on, and I understand it. And I actually ended up deleting what I posted, you know, because I don't want me to be the direct cause of somebody not being an activist anymore for the Palestinian part. Yeah. Even though I feel like it's wrong completely. Like if that was your little brother or your older brother Dennis or somebody, your niece, your nephew, whatever the fuck, would you want their deadless body, beheaded body of an infant being posted on their Instagram stories as a talking point?
No, see, I wouldn't want that.
And you're desensitizing yourself.
You can use a picture of him that's not
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You don't need proof that, you know what I mean? Like just.
And when the hostages were exchanged, there's a video I saw of a Palestinian girl who was locked up since she was 16 in an Israeli prison. And this girl was arrested on her way to school. And she's coming out a grown woman now, 24, 25 years old, after 10, 11 years in a Israeli jail, and hugging her mom. And her mom saying, I knew I would see you again. I knew I would see you again. That had more impact on me than a dead body being fucking posted. Like, why can't y'all post that shit? You know what I mean? That's more impactful. That's spreads the message. And I deleted it later because I didn't want to offend anybody. I don't want them to think my viewpoint should stop them from posting what they want to post. But the thing is, put a fucking viewer discretion is advised or something, man. Like I couldn't eat for the rest of the day after that, bro. I was fucked up. I couldn't sleep that night. It fucked me up. I don't want to see the headless body of somebody who's the age of my nephew, bro. Like, I can't.
And some of those hostage videos were kind of wild to watch because some of them like were smiling and like dapping up the
Hamas leaders,
the people that were holding them captive, you know, and apparently like one of the people are like because you know how it's very traditional in like Islamic households, like you know, like you let other people eat first, you make sure, you know what I'm saying, especially if you're like a host of. Apparently, one of the girls like went home and she's like, you know, she's letting everybody eat, like she basically copying mannerisms, yes, from.
But you got to think to an extent.
But of course, you know, Stockholm syndrome, you know,
that too. And I was gonna say, like, what level is like, hey, when we get the fuck out there, act like you fucking love us. Right. You know what I mean? Like, like it's a form of propaganda. Like it is.
Oh, you're saying them? Yeah,
it could be because I'm not a fan of Hamas.
Hey, if you don't smile when you get in the truck, we're gonna shoot you.
Yeah,
that is easy to say.
Like Hamas, yes, as a direct of Israel being an oppressive state, has done horrible things, like inhumane things, and people try to justify it because they hate Israel so much that Hamas is okay. I'm telling you right now, if Israel were to cease today, Hamas would be in a civil war by tomorrow. I promise you. There will be a civil war because who wants power now? How do we control power? How do we consolidate power throughout all our ranks? Like, no, because this isn't a structured thing, bro. It's not. And it's not something that's so black and white and everybody wants to make it black and white, you know? And I fear for when this all goes to bed, you know, in the future, if it does. It's like, and people want this idea, like they go to one extreme. The thought of a one-state solution does not exist anymore. The thought that it would only be the Palestinians and it'll only be the Israelis doesn't exist.
No,
you have to come up with a thing to either live amongst each other, which is unlikely, or a two-state solution without Israel impeding on it. There's this thing called determinism in science. I can tell what an electron and proton is going to do based off what they did like other times, you know, in the past. And it might change. There's a possibility still there that it might. But based off what I already know, they will do what I already think they're going to do. And that's my problem with Israel. Like, I can go into a treaty and say, you can't cross X line. But I've seen them cross X line a million fucking times. How the fuck am I going to trust them to, you know, not cross that line again? Like, I've seen it with you so many times, and that's the scary part of getting into these treaties with the Israelis. The scary part of getting in these treaties with Hamas. You don't know what's going to happen, and it's such a scary area to get into. You know what I mean? And I fear for the future. I really do, because people think, oh, once this is over, everybody's going to be happy, and I've seen it with my own people. I've seen it with the Kurds.
I mean, you have to think, man. This is what this is the fate of the future as far as global. Because, you know, like no big wars are really gonna happen like that. I feel like, at least, you know, God forbid, maybe whatever, 80 years or something. I don't fucking know. But I feel like this is the type of wars that were, you know, like Ukraine, Russia, Israel, Palestine, like, you know, over some like land disputes, you know, very controversial, you know, like, oh, hey, this is our land. Hey, this is my land. But I don't see any, like, you know, definitely no like full blown shit.
That's the thing, Dennis. Like, it's.
I don't see this shit ever ending.
There you go. It takes on a different form. If
Israel and Palestine, fuck, even Russia and Ukraine, until like the people in power change. Maybe for Russia, Ukraine, the people in power, as far as like Putin goes, but as far as Israel and Palestine goes, I don't think that's ever gonna change. As far as tensions go, like both sides are gonna hate each other forever. Because, dude, I mean, I saw a video of a little kid, Palestinian kid, like, my dad and my brother just, you know, got martyred, you know, and like
they have to live with that.
That kid's gonna grow up, you know what I'm saying, hating Israelis.
Yeah,
you know, so that's just how it goes.
Inherent, like, what you gonna do about it? It's nothing you could tell him that would make him feel different.
No.
You know, and
if you tell whatever you tell him is just gonna make him more mad.
Yeah, like they don't.
If you're trying to justify it in any way, he's not gonna hear that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so. And I just think this war is gonna be probably it's something like you said.
I mean, dude, people literally forgot about Ukraine and Russia.
Within seconds.
And it's still going.
Yeah, it's still going. Within seconds, they forgot about that shit. Zelensky's over there at the door like, yo, y'all remember my ass?
Spare change, sir.
And they cut his fucking funding.
Spare change.
To fund Israel more. And he was pissed. And he told, in the beginning of the Israel-Hamas war, he was talking about how people are going to forget about Ukraine.
Doesn't Ukraine, aren't they supporting Israel? Which is insane to me. Mm-hmm. It's like, my brother.
The reason why is because, the Russians are pro-Palestinian.
Yeah. So I guess they have to in a sense, but I'm like, bro.
But it's literally the same exact situation.
Yeah, like, my brother's gone.
Yeah, like, I don't know, man.
Let's be for real.
Good. So last week, it's almost been a week now, which is crazy. We lost our good friend Hazem.
Literally,
yeah, bro. That was like my brother, bro. Like, shit. I'm trying not to get emotional again. I got all my crying out the way, luckily. But that was my fucking dog, man. Like, just everything you want in a person encapsulated in that one guy. And
because you known him since childhood,
he was young, bro. Like, I used to teach him Arabic, how to read and write in Arabic, bro. And he was like maybe 13 when I met him. I was 16, maybe 17. Okay. I was only a few years older than him. And it was Saturday school every week. And there's this one funny story I think about. He convinced me that his parents didn't know English, so they couldn't help him with his homework. And his dad comes on, like, not that week, but the next week, and he's talking to me in full fucking English. Right? His dad's talking to me in full English. Yeah. And Hazem's just looking at me. You know that fucking smile he has? He's sitting there like fucking thieving-ass smile, and I'm just looking at him. And I never said anything to him because I just couldn't, you know. I didn't get mad at him or nothing. I just walked up to him after I was done talking to his dad. I was like, do your homework next week. He was like, okay. That's just the type of person he was. You couldn't get mad at him or nothing, man. Like, he like made you feel every emotion to like the umpteenth fucking degree. Mm-hmm. When he annoyed you, like back when I used to teach him, he annoyed me. He made me want to pull my fucking hair out. He when I laughed with him, he made me laugh in the most fucking spectacular way until my stomach hurt type shit. And I didn't laugh with nobody else like that. Mm-hmm. And then like with his passing, I felt the fucking biggest sadness I've ever felt in my life, bro. Like I've never felt that gut-wrenching feeling that I felt when I found out. And
it always, man, just hits you like a truck,
man. And I just love his family so much for how strong they are. Like the love and respect I have for his sister, the love and respect I have for his mother and father, and his younger brothers. Oh my God! And I'm over here at his burial, and his little baby brother's consoling me. Like that's how bad it was. Like that's how strong they are as people.
So wait, did they have the official?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Shoot, I should have told you about that.
When was that?
That was last Friday, I believe.
Okay. Because I couldn't come to the potluck thing, but
yeah, I would have probably Friday.
I'll go visit it sometime.
Yeah, just let me know. I'll take you. But he's such a beautiful person every way. He always will be, and that's something. That's just one of them that's gonna stick with you, bro. It's
hard to forget. He's not someone you can easily forget, man. I didn't even know him that well, you know. I mean, you know. I easily could have, you know, he was a homie for sure, but, you know, I didn't grow up with him or anything. Yeah. But, you know, I'm pretty sure I met him through you.
Yeah.
And, I mean, from the first time I met him, man, he was just, I could tell, man, right away, he's a genuine guy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You could tell. I feel like in the eyes a lot, you could tell. Yeah. And, I mean, just such a genuine guy, hilarious guy, man. The amount of support, the thing that stuck out for me the most, man, and is just the amount of love and support he showed for his friends and family and just everyone around him, man. You know, he's just always was trying to uplift others.
Yeah,
you know, and that's something that you can't teach. That's not something that you can.
It's just who you are.
Show. That's just deep. You know what I'm saying? That's just if it comes out, it comes out. You know, that's just the type of person.
He was definitely a comedian of sorts. You know what I mean? But like he had this wisdom with him that you'd find in an old man kind of shit. Like if he wanted to get a point across to me, I swear to you, nobody in the world could get a point across to me like he did. Like he would just say certain things because he knew how to talk to me. He knew how to get to me. So he'd say certain things to make me understand what I'm doing is wrong, or just to encourage me. Or like even when we made music, and he turned his life around, became very religious, deleted all his music and all that.
Did he really?
Yeah, like he really, in the end, he became very religious, and I'm glad that happened. But I can't not mention his genius in music, bro.
I was gonna say I'm kind of sad that he felt the need to delete his music because I feel like you don't.
I mean, it was like it was a Muslim thing.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I just
he dedicated a whole video on his YouTube about it. You should definitely check it out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but
so if anything, I'll post. I'll post it in the description as well. Everyone wants to watch that.
We made a song. It's called Habibi.
I feel like I've definitely.
Yeah, you definitely heard it. 1,000% you've heard it. And I hated the fucking song because we sat there one day randomly and just freestyled it, and he just said this part, and we were going crazy because that's what we did. You know what I mean? And I hated my part in it, bro. And he just hyped me up so much to the point like that I actually wanted to drop it eventually, and people went crazy with it. It was to that Soulja Boy beat, She Make a Clap beat, but we made it before Soulja Boy. It's funny enough. We found the beat, made the song, everything before Soulja Boy. Like by 2-3 months, we beat him with it. And in the ad libs, he said, "I'm that Muslim brother with the glizzy, stuff it Allah." When he said stuff it Allah, I lost my shit, bro. Because like you could put me in a studio and lock me up for 1,000 years. I would have never thought of that ad lib, bro. Like,
what did he say?
He said, "A stuff it Allah." Like, may God forgive me. He said, "I'm that Muslim brother with the glizzy." And he said, "Stuff it Allah." The ad lib, and I lost it, bro. I'm like, oh my God, bro, this dude's a genius. And he just had his swagger about him, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah, big things ahead of him. I always said that, man. And if he put his mind to something, like me and him had conversations over text about that type of shit all the time. Like keep growing, keep grinding. Like it's all about consistency. You know what I'm saying?
He was like one of the most disciplined people I knew too. On top of that, like, and the thing about him was like he just is a once in a lifetime person, bro. Like that is, you'll never meet another person like him. You just can't. It's not something that you, like you said, you can't teach it, bro. It's just his morals and values were always there, bro.
And I think it sucks because I had a friend pass away this year as well, earlier in the year. R.I.P. Josiah. And it kind of sucks that it takes someone's death to really, like, wow, like, look at the type of character he was, you know what I'm saying? And to really appreciate, it just sucks when I kind of, and I almost, when Hazem passed and everyone was posting on their story and everything, like you're almost like, damn, like I should post something. But then it's like, who am I posting this for? Right? Like, what's the point? To get attention? Am I doing this? And I'm like, I don't want to do that, but I know if, he was here and I was in his situation, like he would post something, just to show respect and love and just, to let, I guess, put out that energy in the world in a sense that like you are thinking about him, you are on, he is on my mind, and just in a sense like not to show to people, to like I kind of don't like saying like, oh, send positive vibes in the world, but I mean it is like pretty.
That's what it is, and as much as we want to say, I saw this kid like become a man, bro. Like I knew him since he was a child. Like y'all, not you in particular. I just mean in general. Most people met him a lot later on, bro. Sure. And I saw who he became over time, him growing, his maturity, his wisdom, all this stuff encapsulated into a man who was going to be something special. I always told him he was going to be famous, bro. He just had that aura about him. Like he was just a famous dude. Like that's how he carried himself. That's how he did everything, And I just think about like the person he could have became even later, and I like to think that God took him in his pure state, bro, because he was really on his religion. He was really in a pure state, bro. Like he's over here advising me to do stuff, I used to be his teacher, and he's over here being my teacher in the end. Like that's crazy, and I'm just so grateful for him, bro. And he's the one. These last 2 years, bro, have been very hard on me, bro. Whether it's my addiction, whether it's, my divorce, or whether it's my, I lost a lot of things these last 2 years, but this one, bro, that was the icing on the cake for me, bro. And I'm going to let him live vicariously through me, bro, for the rest of my life. I'm going to do things that'll make him proud. And I hope
you get a different type of fire in you. And like when someone like that close to you passes, like, man, you kind of like, you stop taking shit for granted in a sense, you're like, damn, like, I woke up this morning.
Yeah.
And this motherfucker's not even here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guess you're like, damn, like I'm going to make sure that, you know, I'm living my life to the fullest for you, brother. Cause like, I know, you know what I'm saying? That's what, you know, you would tell me type shit. You know?
And what's crazy is I'll end it on this. I was writing my notebook the night before he passed, or the night he did pass. I wrote down, I was talking about the death of my mother, because unfortunately, bro, I've had a lot of experience with death in my life. Like,
and let me just say, I feel like you and me are at an age, man, like mid-20s, man.
Yeah.
Fuck, bro. Like, this shit is, I don't like this fucking age.
It's a lot more, it's happening a lot more, right?
It's like, Like, as we're, you know, we're in that, like, you know, kind of middle, like, you know, full adult stage, but not yet. Still like kids in a sense, you know, like still young. Like, I don't feel mature. I don't feel old in a sense. I still feel like I'm 20, 21. I don't feel I don't feel like I'm 24.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like I'm 25 next year. Like,
it's crazy how that works. Yeah, I know what you mean. I wrote in my notebook that I was talking about the death of my mother, and I was talking about the fact that I've been through death so much so early on in my life. Like you said, I'm only 24, about to be 25. You know, I experienced death so much that I feel like I've almost become immune to the grief and all this shit. And I'm writing this is the most ironic shit ever, because I'm sitting here talking about how I feel like I'm used to death now and how it's not something that will impact me the same exact way it used to. And I wake up in the morning and I'm reading what I just said last night and I'm laughing at myself. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? You just forgot how that felt. You know what I mean? Like, that grief hasn't hit you in a while, so you just think you're immune to it. And then I lost somebody who was essentially family to me, and I'm just like, fuck, all over again.
That's insane.
And that moment I felt when I walked into the door after school and I found out my mother passed, it all came raining down on me again. And I remembered that feeling. And I was just like, fuck, bro. Like, how did I think that how ignorant could I be? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
that is like almost mocking death in a sense, you know?
Like thinking you're above it.
Like, yeah, trust me, it's going to hit you all the same.
Yeah, man.
You know, but it's good to talk about it. And it's good, you know, I like that we took a segment to talk about him, man. Yeah. And it's good to get this type of stuff off your chest. I mean, I'm sure you've already been talking with some other people, but here and there. But I mean, shit, if any of you watching this, you know, ever want to talk or something, you know, man. For sure.
Reach out, please.
It's all about supporting and loving one another, you know, for sure. That's the most optimum way to go about life, man. Like,
it goes on, man, unfortunately.
Because you never know when the last time you might talk to someone might be, you know. You never know. So it's don't let your last interaction be a negative one.
Yep.
Is all I can say. And I'll leave it for now. Rest in peace, Hazem.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Inshallah, we meet again one day, bro.
I mean, I love you, brother. Yeah. Thank you for watching the LowLife podcast. Love you guys.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Till next time.